early like I'm Rocky. My boa constrict, y'all know this ain't hockey. But my eyes...
What's up, everybody? It's September 14th, 2016. You are listening to Counterculture. Bringing us in was Don Da Vinci Digital Forte off of SoundCloud.com. I mentioned yesterday in episode 3 I was going to bring us in with music from independent artists that are not signed to corporate-owned record labels because I really like the stuff I'm hearing out of SoundCloud. And as promised, this is episode 4. I am going to bring you today the most important, the most interesting, the most critical current events that are happening in our world today. My top story this morning is out of ZeroHedge.com, and the title of this article is Biggest German Merger and Acquisition Deal Ever. Monsanto accepts Bayer's $66 billion takeover offer, creating agricultural giant. So what we have today is two companies merging as one that will command more than a quarter of the combined world market for seeds and pesticides. This marks the biggest merger and acquisition deal for 2016. It's the largest transaction ever involving a German buyer and the largest cash acquisition proposal on record, ahead of the Brewer InBev's $60.4 billion offer for Anheuser-Busch in 2008. Now, I kind of see this as two devils coming together to form one big devil, because when you consider Monsanto being the genetically modified king and all of the drama that I don't need to go into right now in regards to Monsanto. If you don't know Monsanto, if you don't know the wickedness behind it and the cancer-causing company, you should do some research on your own and look up Monsanto. They're merging with Bayer. If you remember, in '85, they infected thousands of hemophiliacs with AIDS, amongst other things that I don't have time to cover right now. So what we have is another large multinational corporation merging with another behemoth multinational corporation that has been involved in hurting the health of billions of people across the globe. Second article of the day, and I hadn't been paying too much attention to this, but some of you guys out there may be familiar with what's going on in North Dakota. Apparently there is a gas pipeline that is being Dakota Access Pipeline that's being constructed through Native American lands. There's been a lot of protests. Amy Goodwin of Democracy Now! Was arrested in North Dakota with protesters a few days ago. Today, it's been reported that National Guard has been activated in North Dakota. Mass arrests at gunpoint are taking place, and an organization called Unicorn Riot has been live streaming on their Facebook, and shockingly it was blocked. And in addition to that, commenters and visitors of the Facebook page were also blocked from sharing their video. What we have is government siding with corporation against the interests of Native Americans and Native American sympathizers. Apparently this pipeline that's being constructed on the Dakota Access, on the North Dakota Native American lands, are a violation of their land rights, and it looks like people are being shipped off into jail. Next article of the day, there's 1 million people on Facebook talking about this right now. This is coming out of BusinessInsider.com. Netflix declares war on data cap. So apparently there's a lot of these cable companies that are limiting the amount of data that one can use, which is problematic for Netflix because they're a huge data hog. Don't mean that in a bad way. We all know that if we're going to be streaming YouTube videos or movies from Netflix, it will infringe on our data limits. Many of the leading cable providers that are also internet providers are capping content. Netflix is going to the Federal Communications Commission and requesting that or actually arguing that they're unreasonable and that it's a violation of a FCC act. My whole point in this issue is government intervention caused this problem to begin with. you have to, in order to operate as a cable and internet provider, it's a heavily regulated industry, and you have to comply with a lot of bureaucracy. It's not a free market when you're in the cable internet providing business. So by them making decisions as private businesses to put caps on their customers, the customers have nowhere else to go. So they're stuck with the company that is limiting their choices. Had we had a free market, people could go pick whatever cable company they wanted, and we wouldn't have this problem to begin with. But government intervention creates more government intervention. So now Netflix looks like they're being forced to go to the government and saying, government, provide more government intervention because this is hurting our business. Next article is coming out of circa.com. Title of the article, millions of American teens are at risk of starving and some are trading sex for food. An Urban Institute study recently published exposed 6.8 million Americans were, quote, food insecure. 4 million are, quote, marginally food insecure. Of all the 10 communities surveyed in the research study mentioned teens were using sex for food, 8 out of 10 were committing petty crimes. So we have millions of starving Americans, many of them teenagers, and apparently the alternative, 10 out of 10 of these communities that were surveyed is indicating that they are sleeping with other people to get a meal. And when I read the article, it's not that they're prostituting themselves. It's more of an unspoken understanding that if this teen goes on a date with someone and they have sex with this person, that they will, the understanding, the underlying understanding is that they will get a free meal. Very sad. ZeroHedge.com is reporting Trump soars in latest polls, sees 5-point lead in Ohio, and in the latest Los Angeles Times national poll. He's leading Hillary Clinton by 5% points in Bloomberg Politics poll out of Ohio, which is a key battleground state that has backed the winning presidential candidate in every election since 1964. So a 5% lead in Ohio is a very big deal for Trump. Trump must be happy, but the New York Attorney General isn't, because the Huffington Post is now reporting New York Attorney General conducting inquiry into Trump Foundation. So Trump is now under some light investigation. Maybe it's like diet investigation. It's not, regular Coke. It's Diet Coke. This is like a diet investigation. It's an inquiry, not a formal investigation. Sounds like a little bit of public relations. The New York Attorney General said on Tuesday that his office has launched an ongoing inquiry into whether nonprofit Donald J. Trump Foundation is, quote, complying with the laws governing charities in New York. Apparently, this is covering something that Washington Post covered, that the Trump allegedly is using foundation money to purchase gifts for themselves, and the foundation misreported a number of donations. But that's not nearly as bad as what famous journalists out of Russia is reporting in Russian media. Dmitry Kiselyov, my apologies to Russian listeners, I can't pronounce anything other than Spanish. Sometimes I can pronounce English. Warned that the elite, quote, may kill Donald Trump because of his desire to build better relations with Moscow. He basically went on to say that Trump's leading in the race, his ability to state things as they are, and his intention to end the bad relationships with U.S. and Russia is putting him in a very risky situation, and they may just kill him because the American establishment is merciless. Just to put things into perspective, this is one of the most famous journalists in Russia. He was appointed by Putin. It's kind of like Katie Couric or Tom Brokaw or some of these guys back 10, 15 years ago saying something very similar. That's exactly what we have going on in Russia. Fascinating. Twitchy.com is reporting that on some leaks that are getting a ton of media coverage. This is all over the internet this morning. This probably could have been one of my opening stories. If we all remember, there was a huge email leak that was published on WikiLeaks on the hacking of a lot of Hillary Clinton emails. And in this recent email that was reported, I think yesterday or today, one, the Clintons hate Obama. Colin Powell, if we all remember Colin Powell from the Bush administration, had a private exchange with a mega donor for the Democratic Party, Jeffrey Leeds. They were emailing each other talking about how the Clintons hate Obama. And Colin Powell really is tired of being connected to the Hillary Clinton email debacle and has denied it and has tried to distance himself from it. And the emails also reveal that he personally believes, as well as this mega donor, that Hillary Clinton is severely ill. Colin Powell stated in the email that she doesn't look good on high definition television and, quote, she is working herself to death. She will turn 70 her first year in office. So this is interesting simply because we have major government officials corresponding with mega party donors exposing the fact that the Clinton family hates Obama and that Hillary Clinton is very sick. Narratives that you would not see in the media, but we are seeing in these hacked emails. So it goes both ways, establishment. If you want to spy on us, the American people, you must be prepared for that sword to be turned back on you. Live by the gun, you die by the gun. Twitchy's also reporting, probably brought this out of order, but again, I don't have a producer. I'm doing this solo. Trump will no longer release his medical records on Dr. Oz. Apparently, there's this popular television show, Dr. Oz. There was all this anticipation for Donald Trump to release his medical records, and he didn't. Why he's not doing that, I don't know. Gives ammunition definitely to the Clinton campaign because now he's looking somewhat like a hypocrite. And that's very interesting. Also being reported is Infowars.com released a video that I'm going to actually play a clip for you right now that shows that the corporate media, MSNBC, CNN, the Alphabet Soup Network, says the exact same things that the Clinton campaign says about their candidate, which goes to show you that the corporate media are really just surrogates of the Clinton campaign. Because if you're going to say the exact same thing as the campaign and defend that person, how can you expect the public to judge you as an objective third-party gatekeeper media entity? You're not doing your job. So in the beginning of this clip, we're going to see campaign spokespeople talk about Hillary Clinton.
She made a decision to just power through this. We've decided to power through sometimes, just power through this. Continue to power through. Yes, she tried to power through it. She decided to power through it.
Well, you know, Brooke, she just wanted to power through. She just wanted to power through her schedule. So she wanted to just power through and keep doing it.
I appreciate all
senator.
of her desire to power through.
To power through and get things done. She tried to power through it. It was
and now we have the media saying the same thing.
Essentially to power through, or the candidate who famously wants to power through these things. She's going to try and power
CNN.
through. We say when you get a cold,
MSNBC.
just power through.
They thought she could power through.
Today Show.
She could power through.
MSNBC.
They thought that she could power through it.
Wants to power
CNN.
through things. That too, the powering through.
Governor Jennifer Granholm said women just power through these things, and I get it. I try to power through all my illnesses.
Hillary Clinton had a very busy day on Friday,
CNN.
and she powered through that day.
Yet she powered through. Powering through illness
MSNBC.
is what women do every day. She continued powering through.
I think about mothers powering through.
I mean, she powered through that week. I'm going to power through. That was her way.
Fascinating stuff. We obviously don't have a fair media anymore. We have essentially spokespeople for the Clinton campaign masquerading themselves as journalists. Next article is actually coming out of globalresearch.ca. Post-9/11 militarization U.S. has spent nearly $5 trillion on wars since September 11th, 2001. And you'll have to forgive me right now because I am recording this live. I don't edit anything, and my computer decided to freeze. So let's keep going. New report from Brown University estimates that Washington has squandered nearly $5 trillion to September 11, 2001 on the wars launched under the pretext of fighting terrorism. Now listen to these numbers, guys. This is absolutely astounding numbers. 10,000 U.S. troops are still in Afghanistan right now. 15 years after the U.S. invasion of that country, and an estimated 6,000 in Iraq. Hundreds of more special ops forces have been deployed to Syria. 1 million Iraqi lives have been lost to the U.S. invasion of 2003. 2 million refugees driven from just the 4 countries laid waste by U.S. wars: Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, and Syria. And 7,000 of our own brave men and women, U.S. troops, have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan, along with approximately 7,000 private contractors. 52,000 have officially been listed as wounded in combat. 52,000. And when we say wounded, we're not talking about Hello Kitty Band-Aids on elbows like my wife has one right now. We're talking about legs being blown off, half your face burnt, paraplegic. And those are just the physical ramifications. And untold hundreds of thousands more are suffering from traumatic brain injuries like PTSD. Just to catch up with what's going on, because many people are running around right now talking about the next season of Glee and don't really understand that we're still in war. But if you remember way back in the old days, 2008, Obama campaigned against the evil Bush and his evil wars, and he was going to be the president. And if we all remember that long time ago, he said that he was going to bring the troops home, and enough was enough. And the anti-war Democrats voted him into office. Well, here we are at 2016. Bush, Obama, doesn't make a difference, does it? Which leads me to my next article, which is out of zerohedge.com. U.S. to provide Israel with record $38 billion in military aid. Reuters reported last night that the United States and Israel reached an agreement on a record new package of at least $38 billion in U.S. military aid over the next 10 years, and it is expected to be signed this week. The biggest pledge of U.S. military assistance made to any country ever. So congratulations, military industrial complex. You guys are ballers, man. Ballin'. Ballin'. Who used to say that? Ballin'. I can say what I want to say because this is my podcast and I can cry if I want to. Activistpost.com. Gang members implicate U.S. government in dumping crates of guns in Chicago. Chi-Town. What up, Chi-Town? Total gun ban. Dozens are getting killed every single week. Chirac is what it's being called. And now we got a former gang member. If you go to YouTube and type in ex-Chicago gang member says they are dropping guns in the hood, you will find out some allegations that completely line up with what we've seen throughout history with the Iran-Contra scandal, with the gun running scandal with the Mexican drug cartels, which was known as Fast and Furious, the CIA and the DEA putting drugs in the communities with Freeway Ricky Ross. I mean, this is not new stuff, but what is new is that there are reports that fully automatic firearms are being found in alleyways and back streets in urban Chicago at early hours in the morning, giving free illegal weapons to gangbangers in Chi-Town. And some of these weapons are Class 3 automatic firearms, which can only be purchased at very specific retailers that have intense federal regulation around it. So it'd be very improbable for a gang member who couldn't even buy a gun to begin with, because first of all, there's a gun ban in Chicago. You're not allowed to buy guns in Chicago. But then the fact that you have a criminal record. So the question is, well, how are they getting all these guns? If you can't buy guns legally, and even if you could buy them legally, you can't buy them with a criminal record. And police are pulling them off the streets on a daily basis. So where are they coming from? Well, we have gang members saying they're just getting dropped off, and they're implicating the federal government, the same federal government that shipped guns to drug cartels in Mexico, which was exposed in congressional testimony under oath and got very little media attention because it was Precious Obama that was behind that. You're racist if you say it. Yahoo.com is reporting 1 dead, 2 injured in a local situation at a Walmart. Again, my computer's freezing, so you guys are front row to new media, amateur media, because I'm an amateur. I didn't go to journalism school. I just want to tell the truth. I guess if you go to journalism school and work for one of these big firms, these big news organizations, you're really polished, but all of their news is poo-poo. Real quick, 1 dead, 2 injured as Good Samaritans help mother being attacked in Walmart parking lot in Kansas. Essentially what happened was 2 men in a Walmart parking lot approached a woman, hit her in the head. She started to scream. Another man in the parking lot heard the screaming, came to her rescue. One of the attackers shot that man multiple times. He is now in critical condition. After those shots rang out, a second Good Samaritan came over armed and shot the other suspect, killing him, while the other one fled and was arrested later. My question is, if we had the gun ban that's being proposed by Barbara Boxer and Obama, would that woman be alive today? No, probably not, because those Good Samaritans would have been forced to follow the law and would not have been allowed to carry concealed, perhaps, would have not have been allowed to even own a semi-automatic weapon. Or maybe they would have ended up on a no-fly list because they were deemed a terrorist, because we don't know how that determination can be made. They would have not been allowed to purchase a weapon, and maybe that mother would have been dead. But good for Barbara Boxer and Barack Obama for protecting Americans. No, actually, we have a Second Amendment, and that woman is alive today, and she just got upgraded to fair condition. So let's pray for that first Samaritan. He's in critical condition right now for being a hero. Next article. Man, this is depressing. I need to start trying to find some good news, but I'm literally trying to. I'm just going through the news right now, guys, and I can't find. It's hard to find positive stuff, but hey, I'm doing my best. News fix. This is CW39.com. I guess this is a local TV affiliate out of Santa Fe, Texas. Twitter, Fight Club shows disturbing videos of Texas students brawling. So now, I'm 35. It's been a long time since I was in high school. I remember after school, there'd be like this big, rumor that, these two dudes are going to go fight outside, and me and my friends would all go to watch the fight, and it would, be pretty weak. And then the security guy would come over and break it up, and that was it. How quickly time goes by. Teenagers apparently today are organizing fight clubs on social media. If anyone's ever seen Brad Pitt's Fight Club, essentially there's a version of that in Santa Fe, Texas, where these fights are super dirty. Obviously they're not doing it at school because they really want to hurt each other. And I don't even want to watch the video. But if you're interested, look up Santa Fe, Texas Fight Club, and you will see real life Fight Club further degeneration of society. I'm here, Counterculture, chronicling the decline of our once great republic and our once human society. We're now acting like animals. Naturalnews.com is reporting Apple, I can't speak. Apple's, when you add an S, it's Apple's new wireless headphones emit radiation right next to your brain. So I'm sure there's going to be long lines for the new iPhone 7 because it's so much better than the 6. I gotta get it, man. Fire dangerous, cancer-causing radiation directly into the brains of users, experts have warned. iPhone will communicate via Bluetooth directly with the right earbud, which will send a separate Bluetooth signal to the left earbud, which means that the radiation carrying the signal will pass directly through your brain. iPhone 7 users should be concerned about the findings of the 2010 industry-funded Interphone study, which found dramatic increases in the risk of brain tumors, acoustic nerve tumors, and parotid gland tumors among people who had used cell phones for 10 years or more. Wow. Well, we've all known that, well, at least I shouldn't say we've all known, but people who are paying attention, or I guess, or not paying attention to football every weekend, and not that the football's bad, but I've known that radiation being emitted from cell phones is very dangerous. So I recommend you guys go to prepsave.com and go to the defense heading and look up Block It Pocket. It completely eliminates all radiation from your phone. Men, if you carry your phone in your pocket, you are lowering your testosterone count. I try to keep mine away from me at all times. Use speaker on a regular basis, which probably bugs a lot of people, but I don't want to die young. And that pretty much is the news for today. How long did it take for me to go through the news? Once again, 27 minutes. But while this is all going on, one of the most trending stories on Facebook is DJ Khaled and Nas go to the Bahamas for their song Nas Album Done. DJ Khaled, what up? That's where the American people are right now. And I believe, you know what? Facebook updates their stuff pretty regularly. I think the other popular story that was trending right now is Glee. Has anyone ever heard of the show Glee? That's popular. Hot in Her. What's Hot in Her? I don't know. Nelly. The internet unites to, quote, save Nelly. And Harmony of the Seas. I guess there was a Royal Caribbean ship that crashed. These are all, okay, a ship crashing, that's relatively important. But how many people are going to buy the iPhone 7 and use the cool new earbuds? How many people eat food that's derived from seeds or take medication that's produced by Bayer? How many people care that their fellow Americans are starving and having sex with strangers for food? I think that's a little bit more important, which is why you need to join Counterculture. Please spread the word. Please share this podcast. This is a free podcast. It's being completely supported by PrepSave.com. It's completely voluntary. PrepSave.com is our sponsor. And the reason PrepSave.com is our sponsor is because the times that we live in is requiring and demanding that we get prepared. Come on. This is a very fragile society. The grid is very, very delicate. If we don't have reliable food and water, we will perish and die. We want to survive. Cafe lattes, pumpkin spice, Starbucks drinks, that next dinner out, the next new Xbox, even your 401k, I would argue pales in comparison to being able to survive when the stuff hits the fan. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not listening to Counterculture or listening to the new media, then you would you would think that everything's great, that the biggest story in the news is DJ Khaled and the Royal Caribbean cruise ship sinking. So that's maybe the reason why you're not prepared. But if you're paying attention to the world, and here at Counterculture, we're chronicling what's going on in the world, this should compel you to get prepared. So that's why I've created Prep Save, for your ability to get what you need to be able to take care of you and yours. So everything is available on aaronlujan.com. Today is September 14th, 2016. This was episode 4 of Counterculture. Once again, I'm not able to go into a topic of choice, but I promise I will do it this week. Thank you for joining me. Take care.